Hello and welcome to Boarding Party's D&D campaign. Featuring Bentley Woods, CJ, D. Blackwater, Milo Reuter, and Phoebe Wilhine. I'm Drew, the Game Master for the Laris region. Training continues as Milo works on his very own flight suit to better understand his partners. Ladies and gentlemen, hello. It's some more downtime. Milo has some things he'd like to learn, some things he'd like to do.
Yes.
We're gonna teach and observe.
Yes.
Let us begin. So we begin with Milo.
Yeah.
Your desire
Yes.
to create a tangible, actual, factual
Yes.
wingsuit.
Yeah, I've been toying with one in my room, and I love it a lot, but unfortunately it's limited to my room. So I need to make one that I can take outside the manor.
Yes.
Out of leather.
Yes. As instructed by D, and upon request, Neek is available to assist you in the ways of learning to use a toolkit.
Okay.
Now, Neek and D are not themselves proficient with the
leather
gear and
yes.
the weaving tools you would need.
Yeah.
However, Neek knows how to learn, and he knows how to teach you how to learn.
Perfect.
And it's a very effective way
That's all I wanted.
to begin. So, over the course of a few days, Neek, bright and early, on your bird training schedule, when he knows you and Monty will be up running drills, hits you with a rap tap tap at the doors.
Good morning.
As you look way down, you see it. You see young Neek stood there with his own version of your leatherworking toolkit at his side. Hey. Just kind of like hovels past you. Makes the long journey for him short for you up into your treehouse.
Beautiful.
Lays out a series of tools.
So let's, I guess to get started, I should see you in flight so we can figure out how to make what you imagined into something real.
Okay.
So you should probably, take a quick test flight, maybe.
Sounds
And
good.
I'll take some observations down.
Cool. And I will just imagine it on me. Is it just
Nanotech.
yes? The manor is so cool.
You just take off your sunglasses and it just becomes a wingsuit.
Here we go.
All right, as you yeet yourself out and the usual tailwind occurs, Neek takes down some observations. It's pretty good. Not so good. Very good. Okay. Neek loses track of you a little bit as you're kind of flying around. You sort of forget that you're on an observation flight for maybe about a minute.
Go through.
And you start doing some tricks.
Yeah.
Doing some drills. You probably roll over, grab onto Bullet's back, and then backflip off and take back into flight. And Neek's like, all right, I don't think he should be doing that outside, but okay. And takes down some observations. And by the time you land, he has his sketchbook ready. And he very quickly closes it.
All right, Milo.
Yes.
As your teacher in this,
Okay.
why don't you go ahead and sketch down for me what you think your suit should look like, and we'll see how mine differs.
Okay. I will get a giant sheet of paper.
Okay.
And I will lay down on it and make a life-size version of me, like a chalk outline, like a murder.
Okay.
And then shrink it so that I can draw on it. Gotta get the
So it's the
proportions
scale.
right.
He's like, that's really smart.
Yeah, gotta get the proportions. Dude, the manor does some cool stuff.
I would never have thought to do that. I would have simply measured you. But you know what? Ingenuity is important.
My reliance on the manor is gonna be my downfall, I'm sure.
You're going to be outside. I'll have a large sheet of paper. Where is it?
No, I'll just jump off Bullet and dude, your suit. And I'm like, no worries.
It will come to me.
We're not in the manor. And I will draw on it. It looks pretty similar to the one that I already imagined because it's the only kind of basis point that I have.
Very good.
However, understanding the limitations of my ability and the materials available, it is just going to be made out of leather. It doesn't have the fancy, like, whatever super chrome mesh I imagined.
Yeah.
You're like, elf silk, lighter than air, stronger than steel.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't work with that material outside.
So it's just leather. It's a little crude, but just trying to replicate it as best as I can with basic materials. So some of it would be like, in my imagined suit, the wing piece is probably all one piece, but I don't have any leather that big. So it's like, oh, I have a piece. It's like making a Tetris puzzle out of what I have.
You're building a big quilt.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I shall be borne aloft by quilted wings.
Yes.
I trusted them.
give me an intelligence check for the drawing of the blueprint, which determines the difficulty of the creation process.
21.
Holy bursh. All right, Milo. As you sit down, Neek stands by ready to, offer some corrections and advice, but never speaks up. As you're kind of, sketching through, you're like, okay, I think, given the materials we have, as you gesture to, this big, stack of just leather scraps, okay. You start laying them out on the chalk outline, and you're like, okay, think if we stitch along these lines, and Neek's like,
this kid's good. He's got promise.
Then he will assist with his very own Neek brand glue, which is the sort of adhesive substance that he secretes from his sticky fingies so that he can climb. You've seen D use this stuff in a few cases. It's stronger than most other glue you've ever come across.
Interesting.
And the dude just seems to have it on demand. Just comes out of his thumbs.
That's cool.
So it saves you a little bit on stitching integrity.
Yeah.
But the one point where you do both is probably at the connectors through the arm.
Yeah.
Do you attempt to do anything flashy, or is your first suit stereotypical Iron Man Mark 1?
Yeah, I'm dubbing this the Wingsuit Mark 1. This is 90% for testing purposes because I'm going to take this to train with Marley, and I don't want to spend so much time making it look nice because it's my first go, and I want to learn with her some things that I might not already know and what I might want to do for version 2. So I'm building this with the intention of this isn't my suit forever. I know this is a step.
Perfect. All right. So the first day goes by. You and Neek up in your treehouse. You've got this fine layout. You set the glue to dry. Give me a dexterity check. The DC has been determined by the intelligence check you had, so it shouldn't be that difficult.
10.
10? There you go. A 21 on the blueprint saved you there. As you set everything out to dry, you notice the next morning as you kind of unfurl it, there's a little bit of tearing at the seams, and you apply a little more glue and perhaps maybe some stitching, and you fold it back together. Is there any testing you wish to do with it in here?
Yeah.
Or would you take it immediately into the field?
No, I wouldn't take it immediately. I just want to make sure that it fits and that I can at least glide and land, because minimally I just need to make sure at a basic level it functions. I don't want to show up for scuba class and not have my flippers. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
it'd be embarrassing.
What I more than anything would like to do is try it on and do just that, a swoop and a land. But because I can't predict the weather, I don't want the usual assistance that I get in here. So I'm not going to imagine a tailwind. I just want to make sure that I can swoop and land in this.
Okay. Procure for me a wisdom or nature check, if you are proficient, and then a dexterity check.
Okay. So we'll do a wisdom and then a dex check. And then, because safety first, but also I'm a child, there's a big tub of marshmallows.
Okay, right below the tree.
Yeah.
You just
marshmallows.
Eagle!
Yeah.
Jet Puff if they sponsor us.
14 on the wisdom.
Okay.
And a whopper of a 3 on the dex.
All right. You step out to the base of the tree. You feel the lack of wind in this sort of ethereal treehouse that you've built for yourself. And you plummet immediately into the big pool of marshmallow. As Neek just looks over and takes a few observations. All right. You good down there? As you just sink like belly first into a pool of marshmallows.
Yep.
Right.
Ego's bruised more than anything as I eat 3 marshmallows.
To soften the blow. Okay. He'll send a lift down for you and they'll kind of like crane you out of there and back up to the top. I'll say your wisdom stands. Give me one more dex check in here. And then we'll see if we need to make any modifications.
14.
14? All right. This time, you realize without the tailwind, you need to generate your own speed.
Yeah.
So you take a deep breath.
Oh, yeah.
And you jump out, and at the perfect moment in that down strike, you see Bullet flying, just eyes on you as he's like, oh no. And he starts to take off before you catch your own glide around.
Nice.
And you see Monty very subtly behind you, like holding back the urge to generate a tailwind, but is coasting with you as you sort of glide around the treehouse 2 or 3 times. Give me a dexterity check to land. You're flying nicely. It's a 13 on the die.
I have a +0, so 13.
So it's a 13. All right. It's a bit of a hectic landing, but you don't get hurt and you don't tumble, head over heels.
Probably land on my butt.
Yeah.
Slide for a little bit.
You do like a parachute landing where you're like, so you stutter to a stop at the base of your tree, and you hear Neek let out a little
Well done.
Beautiful.
That was a good landing.
Thanks.
We should probably make like an emergency way for you to land.
Yeah, like a parachute?
Yeah, like if everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
Like that was a good flight, but
For sure.
just in case.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
If you're like flying and then you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably a good call. I was thinking Bullet would catch me, but he might not be there, so.
as Bullets like flies right down behind you, just perches, and he's like,
yeah.
just gives you a glare of like, what are you doing?
I want to fly with you guys.
Puts a big wing around you and just kind of pulls you in close. And Neek's like,
All right, parachute. Anything else you want on there right now, or?
No, not that I can think of. I've got to test it more and figure out what I want to do.
All right. I'll be thinking of ways we can improve this. You let me know how your test flights go outside.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you, Neek. This is going to be great.
Good day, Milo.
as he like walks to the side of your treehouse and catches like a little tether down.
And he goes, be careful at the bottom of the rope. I think your giraffe rig left you something.
Kind of swings off to the side and plods out.
God, again?
You just see Giraffe Riggs just munching some grass along the side of your treehouse, but there is just a big old pile of horse apples right at the
Jeez.
bottom of your rope, right where everyone comes and goes.
Yep. I will hastily put on my more fantasy flight suit and zip down and grab the shovel that's next to the tree because it just has to stay there because Giraffe Rig keeps pooping, and I will shovel it and I'll put it into a burlap sack that I'm collecting to give to Phoebe for fertilizer.
Smart. Very smart. All right. So concludes the test flight
Okay.
of the Mark 1 wingsuit.
Beautiful.
So as Neek leaves you,
Mm-hmm.
you've got the rest of today.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow begins your real work with the wingsuit.
Yes.
Fletchling hops over to you,
Yeah.
gives a quizzical look.
Hello, friend. I have an idea I want to try for you. Do you trust me? And I will conjure a little aviator hat with some mirrors on the sides so that they can look left or right and see above in like a blind spot.
Okay, some rear views.
Yeah. And then I just wanted to gently put it on its little head.
Okay. Yeah, it just... You
And-
watch as it turns around,
and-
but still looks at
yeah.
you.
That way you can see me or whatever's around you, even when you're up in the air doing training and battles and stuff.
You can see it's just fascinated for the moment of like looking behind.
Yeah. It's gonna take some getting used to, but I think that you'll find it very helpful. Would you like to do some practice with it? Okay, let's go. And then we'll go up to the treehouse and do some flying together.
Okay.
So it'll flap and I'll run and we'll jump off. And then as we glide together, I'll kind of like fall back and go around it and just like get it,
Test the rear views.
give it some practice to like look without doing that.
Okay.
And, if there's anything you'd like me to roll for that or do.
For Fletchling. Let's start with a perception check. Just to attune itself, in a manner of speaking, to this helmet. To be able to tune out the less important information.
Wow. 4.
4? Okay. It's a struggle. It's a struggle for a while.
Yeah, I bet.
You see, as Fletchling is flying, the eyes are constantly on other things, and you're terrified at any moment that they're just gonna fly into a tree
Yeah.
or like into one of the walls. But it's always the last moment to
Yeah.
just carries off. But you
I
can
have to imagine
see,
it's jarring.
yeah, Fletchling's trying to keep one eye on you and another eye like on the mirrors and also straight ahead.
Yeah.
And it's just doing one of these little chameleon maneuvers.
Yeah.
So it's just. So the poor thing's just flying all around.
Yeah.
And it lands after a while and it's like.
Okay. Let's do another one, but just you. If you fly to that tree and then come back. That's it.
One more time. Give me a perception check.
Super basic. You
Yeah.
gotta, I maybe jumped the gun. 18.
Look at that. Dice narrative, baby. All right, this time, Fletchling flies perfectly. Dead ahead, sees the tree, doesn't... Not that Milo would notice, but Fletchling is able to keep their eyes dead ahead
Yeah.
on that tree. And then begins preparing for the kind of like curve around it. And flicks an eye to the left and carries off right back to you. You can see that turn was executed perfectly.
Okay.
And just right on back to you and perches
Beautiful.
on the glove.
So that was awesome. Try it one more time. But I'm going to discreetly ask Titania to go hide behind the tree and just jump out at it. Like a spook maneuver. And
Okay.
see how it reacts.
Perfect. All right, Fletchling. Give for me a wisdom saving throw.
15.
15?
Yeah.
All right.
It's Fletchling onto my tricks.
No, so
No.
Milo, as you stand there, as Fletchling takes off, you're like, Titania, now! You see, lets out this horrible shrill shriek that everybody else in the
Oh.
treehouse stops and looks out. It's like,
Nice.
what is going on? Fletchling just hard, sharp turn, right back to you. Doesn't even flinch. And Titania's like, am I a joke? Unbelievable. Just kind of stomps off for a minute. She's like, my perfect plan. All I had to do was shriek at you and you would crumble. And Fletchling just lands on your glove.
Interesting.
Catches Titania walking off in the mirror and looks back like, were you there?
You didn't, that didn't bother you at all? The, Titania's loud noise, it didn't bother you? Interesting. And then, while I'm talking to it, I want to put my hand behind it and, like, snap.
Yeah, never breaks eye contact. Just stares at you.
Would you like, and again behind it, would you like a treat? Go ahead, it's over here.
Give me a perception check. With bird smell.
This is for Fletchling,
Yeah.
16.
16? You plucks the treat from your hand.
No.
With no mind to the snapping.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Downs the treat.
Well, I think we're gonna have to put some work into this hat business, because I think it will help you communicate with the rest of the team, or see what's going on. Be aware of your surroundings. So, let's do one more flight together.
All right. I'm not gonna make Milo roll for this, because you're in your super suit. It's got jet thrusters or whatever it needs to keep you airborne.
Yeah, it's like the Mark Rober dartboard. It's like a gyroscope that just perfectly positions.
No matter what.
me.
Whoa!
Yeah.
No matter what you do, you're just flying like this.
Yeah.
And it's just keeping you stable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, Fletchling. Give me a perception check while you fly. Flat 10.
So it'll be an 11.
Okay. There were a few moments, anytime you get ahead of Fletchling, even by not meaning to, just by the nature of the size difference, follows you no problem. But anytime you get ahead, you see there's a moment of like, okay, I got this, and then it'll catch like a little glint of you and then maybe bullet or something, and you're seeing like the attention's getting diverted. There's a little too much going on.
Okay.
And you gather it might be helpful if you were to say, put the mirrors under Fletchling's control.
Oh, like move them, let it move them?
Mm-hmm. Or perhaps horse blinders.
Yeah.
And then when they look that direction, drop it.
Okay.
Bring it back up.
Well, I'm super down to try that. My concern is that I have to make that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to make it now.
No, I know. I can imagine it now, but I'd have to make it on the outside.
Yes.
So, yeah, we'll give something like that a shot. Let's do, I don't want to hinder other or require other motor skills. So let's try, I have an idea. I'm just trying to think how Milo would do this.
Okay. You want to think out loud?
Yeah.
Walk me through the process?
I was kind of thinking,
Can I help
like,
you?
if they were almost lenticulated, so that if you were looking one end, the other end was kind of grayed out. But if you shift your vision, that way they don't have to actually move.
Yeah.
But it can be there. But I don't know. I don't think that would work. But if you did something that's almost like I was trying to think of something that could be on like a swivel, so even if there's one set,
Yeah.
if it's straight ahead of you and you look left, it moves and it looks that way, or if you look right, it looks that way. But that, if you're going straight, is stupid. So maybe we can do all right, you know what we're gonna do?
What are you thinking?
Here's the solution I've come up with.
Here's what happens.
It's still what it is. It's like the little aviator hat, and it's got the mirrors, but it's a toggle. So Fletchling has like a like a chest harness.
Yeah.
And it's like a button, so it can go and just bop it, and it'll switch to sides. So you can look like right side, and like that's all there is, so it's less distracting, and you can hit it again, and it switches to the other side.
Okay. Little
Yeah.
side to side.
Yeah, to start.
Okay.
Might help.
All right. You take a moment in your flying while you're kind of thinking about this, and as you land, you think real hard. You're like, all right, it's done. And suddenly, Fletchling's got like this little tiny harness on, and just.
I got this idea from thinking about Dee's room, because he's a pirate, and pirates do that with their eye patch. They'll put it on one side.
There you go.
Do that, but you can't really flip eye patch sides in the air. So
just
yeah.
right back to it. We're good. Okay. We'll get a test flight in any manner of your choosing for Fletchling.
Okay.
And then we'll see kind of what that looks like. So just get I'll say dexterity or wisdom. I don't particularly mind.
From Milo?
From Fletchling.
From Fletchling.
To either tone out unimportant information or to maneuver the mirrors in such a way.
Okay. You said dex or what?
Dex or wisdom.
It's going to be dex, but I was just...
Yeah. Away it goes. It looks like a 4. No.
All right. You're right. That idea is dumb. Let's not do that.
All right. How does that look though? As Fletchling does a takeoff flight, I'll let you do this one.
It flies down and it's looking on one side and it doesn't really understand what's happening, so it just flies in circles.
Okay. Fletchling's just holding one lever down and it's just constantly like, okay, this is forward.
Yeah.
This is forward, and you eventually just go out and okay, we're good. Okay.
Okay, let's try one more thing. And instead of it being what it was just now, it'll be a hat with one mirror on the right side, and it can pivot whatever way it wants. So by default, it'll go to the side, but then it can look like up or down or whatever. And so it's just one. So then, as just a test, we're not worrying about using it, but it'll look behind to start.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say just do a flight right now and close this eye and fly straight, and then go to that tree, turn around, and then fly back to me, but try to open your eye.
Okay. So let's give me the way out as, no, we'll just say a way out perception and a way back perception. I'm not going to say disadvantage on the way out. That seems silly.
Oh, a 10
10?
the way out.
Okay. It's
and
acceptable.
A 16 on the way in.
That's very good. Okay, so as Fletchling closes one eye, you can see there's a tendency without the like full depth perception. Fletchling's kind of like veering to one side, and then like has to like overcorrect, so it's a little bit back and forth. But as they turn and they spin to face you, both eyes open, and that whole rig swings down, and you're like, "You're doing it, Peter! You're believing!" And you can see Fletchling's like dead set on you, but you watch as the eyes are just kind of like gauging all of this extra information. And you watch as Bullet kind of like flies down alongside to get a glimpse of the new kit. Fletchling kind of turns the head to the side, but is still able to see you, and is just like, "Yeah, this is pretty cool."
Sweet.
And they both kind of swoop down to greet you. As Bullet sits there, and you can see Howl and Titania are pacing. You see Titania squawking to Howl about like, "She wasn't even scared. I shrieked as loud as I could." And Howl's like, "I heard you. We all heard you." Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so this is the baseline for what we're gonna do. We'll make this a better contraption, but I think it will help. Good job. Amazing work. And yeah, I'll keep that in mind for my next blueprint.
Okay.
But we're gonna keep working on that. When I wake up in the mornings, be part of my training. Then we'll add more like trees and obstacles as they improve.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go from there.
Very good. So during one of your morning training routines
Yes.
with Fletchling,
Yeah.
as of course has become tradition,
Yeah.
how do you shake things up?
Um,
They're starting to get a grip on flying with mirrors.
yeah.
It's not so difficult for them anymore, but they do still struggle a bit on turns.
Yeah.
Because as they're turning and they're getting used to like always seeing forward, extra information is always distracting. So you can see the little birds like,
Yeah.
and it kind of just becomes like a blur. But when they're flying straight on, it's no problem. It's when they turn that things get a little hectic.
Well, at this point, because of other things I'm working on, I'd like to turn to Monty and ask him, you know, hey, if you were removing the mirror bit aside, if you were training a bird to do some of the tasks that you have done as far as getting ribbons, what sort of training regiment would you give? And I'll just ask Monty, like, hey, come up with some stuff for Fletchling to deal with in flight today. And Monty will request that Derby gets ready to sling some mud.
Okay.
Because Monty's not like the best coach yet. He's
Yeah.
probably going a little too hard right now. But he's thinking the hardest thing I had to deal with was flying to Etiola and like getting stuff thrown at us as a team and
Yeah.
like dodging stuff from below. So that's what you have to do today, maggot. And
Is what we do.
and
Yeah.
get Derby ready down
Okay.
below as Fletchling is gonna try to fly and dodge some mud.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say it's around this time, Milo, as you're like, all right, Monty, I want you to come up with something. And Monty turns to face Derby, and you just see Slurp sitting in your room, just like trunk out.
Oh, hey. How'd you get in here? How'd you get up? How'd you get up here?
And Derby's like,
How'd you get up? Oh, I know how you got up here, but did you help him get up here? All right. Well,
Slurp's like, I heard we're throwing mud at birds.
if you want to join him, you're more than welcome.
Kind of sways
to.
back and forth,
You-
kicks the dirt.
Yeah. All right, you silly elephant. Does CJ know you're in here? All right, I won't tell if you won't tell.
Kind of like rolls over to you, wraps a trunk around your leg, and then immediately just like rolls to the edge of the tree. You're like, oh no, and just dives off into the marshmallow pool.
Oh, nice.
And it's
Slurping them up.
as Derby just looks over, and goes, dives on down, and then the two, he kind of like drags Slurp out, who's just shoveling marshmallows into their mouth, up onto the ground, and they start like building a little like dirt fort. They're just Derby's just throwing little mud balls up and down, and Slurp's got like a big old chunk. Like, all right, we're ready.
All right.
We're in position.
Guys, this isn't life or death here.
Slurp's like, understood.
All right. I hope that clump becomes smaller clumps as you throw them.
Yeah, it's worth noting because this will be, I don't know if this will be the first canonical time, but I'll mention it a few times. Slurp does still have a massive scar across the front of the torso.
Oh, geez. Okay.
A lot of your teams are kind of like heavily marked by that fight, but
Yeah.
Slurp has lost none of the carefree nature.
Nice.
Just there's this big burn scar up the side of the trunk, and it's kind of like that tense, like lowered in skin scarring,
Yeah.
just from that awful beam.
Yeah.
But Slurp seems to be having a great time, just eating marshmallows, hanging out with Derby.
Need all the marshmallows you want, little guy.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna do that while Milo walks away to do something else.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to, what one you want to do first.
So what we'll do is, if Fletchling's gonna fly,
Mm-hmm.
directed by Monty.
Yes.
Monty, give me a Pokemon handling check.
Okay.
Because this will be Monty's first real experience trying to train Fletchling,
Yeah.
which, as Milo has learned, is not the easiest thing to do.
No, it is not. 13.
13. Okay. Yeah, as you're As you're sort of like squawking orders from behind, and you're like, this petulant bird does not face me when I speak. And then you walk around the front, and Fledgling's like, oh, hey, you're here. I didn't notice. But just kind of spins, gives you the curious look. Monty, give me just like a general wisdom check here. Or intelligence, I'll say. Either one. I don't particularly mind.
I already am getting really annoyed that it keeps going under there.
Yeah.
10.
10? Okay. Yeah, you pick up pretty quick that Fletchling is minimally hard of hearing.
Okay.
So let's get a shot here.
Okay.
Fletchling.
Yeah.
As you slowly take in, you have a harder time reading Monty's beak, because when Milo is speaking at you, you're able to read the lips, you understand the language. But with Monty, it's different, because Monty is speaking to you in box and squawks and caws, and there's a lot more emotion there that you're just not picking up on.
Yeah.
But you gather, Monty wants you to go, do a couple laps, and dodge the things that are there. But
Okay.
you're like, what's there? As Monty's like, there will be mud balls thrown at you. There will be rocks. There will be boulders. There may be lightning. I don't know. There could be bullets. I don't know what's out there waiting for you. This will be your toughest flight yet, bird. And you're like, yeah, sure. This is
Brilliant.
Yeah. So, Fletchling,
Yes.
good luck.
Thank you.
Give me a dexterity check.
Okay.
As you fly around the first corner of the treehouse, and Monty's like, beware the mud bombs! And you're like, phew. See ya.
A dex check?
Yes.
11.
11? Perfect. Okay. You're able to take off, and you see Monty kind of like squawking and flailing his wings through your mirrors as you're like, okay, sure, whatever. I don't know what he's saying, but I'm going. As you fly out and you see the marshmallow pit and two mysterious mounds of earth. What do you do?
Take note of that. Those weren't there, but whatever. Keep flying.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
All right, I don't have Slurp's bonus in front of me, but give me a...
Not like a mound of dirt can.
Yeah,
fly
I'll say
at
you
me.
roll for Derby, I'll roll for Slurp.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
Doing a mud slap, I presume.
Yeah.
Okay. A 14.
A 14.
Exactly hits.
Exactly hits.
Yeah.
I don't know what Slurp's bonus is, but I will assume, I think it's a 5, which would put this also at a 14.
Jesus.
So, Fletchling, as you're flying out, I'll give you two options.
Okay.
You see two mud bombs flying at you. One very small and compact, looks like it's very dense. And you can see Derby's hand is just... And the other is very large, but looks very loosely compacted and is already kind of like falling apart on its way to you.
Okay.
And you see Slurp just covered in mud and marshmallows, big smile on the face, just... Would you dodge around, charge through, or attempt to redirect? 3 options, not 4.
Interesting, because before you even said those, I was going to say attempt a redirect by flying up to meet the smaller one and grabbing it, and then like using the momentum that it has. Like, so it's going this way, right?
Yeah.
And Fletchling grabs it and then just does like a flip and redirects it and then keeps going.
So produce for me a dexterity check, if you would. How'd you do?
Natural one.
Natural 1. All right, the first pass, you take a derby pellet right to the torso. As you're coming in to grab it,
Jeez.
it's much faster than it looked. And you're kind of distracted by, in the mirror vision, you can see Slurp's larger ball coming towards you as you're like, and it just cancels your momentum and sends you flying backwards. As Derby's like, and is immediately scooping another. He's like, Monty said do a good job, come on. As Slurp's like, gets another one as the larger clump kind of just sails underneath you.
Okay. And then being like, oh, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep flying. Maybe not as fast, but take its bonus dodge action.
Yeah, okay.
That's why I was going to say not yet, because there's no reason to. But
Perfect.
now that there is a reason.
Yeah. So as you fly back down and you now see your two competitors just... So let's have them both roll again, this time at disadvantage. Slurp, same roll.
Natural one for Derby.
Slurp got a dirty 20 and a 14.
Jeez. Yeah,
So,
Derby did terrible.
similar question.
Yeah.
As Derby kind of pulls his punch this time, he's like, I'm so sorry. Just kind of lobs one up. Slurp's like, again! Shoof. This one's much larger, but much slower. Same question.
Do I want to try to dodge,
Take
it head on,
redirect, or
charge through it?
charge through?
Um,
As you can see, Monty and Bullet are kind of like flying idly over this section of field. Titania's still grumbling over at Howl. And Howl just watches everybody going about their business. As Giraffe leaves you some more horse apples under your ropes.
Fletchling is gonna try to wing attack it.
Okay. So give me an
Try to
attack roll.
charge through it, I guess, would be the answer then.
Sure.
21 to hit.
Well, that defeats the 14 incoming. So, for sake of this, as the large boulder of mud is flying towards you, what does it look like when you carve through?
I think that due to the dodge action, it's Fletchling's coming in and comes at it kind of low, and then just does one huge like wing burst to get like a little bit of air, like skim the top of it, but then just like and use it almost as like a boost, like wing attack off of the rock.
And kind of shoot faster. All right, Milo, if you're watching in this moment, you would see Monty kind of like raise an eyebrow as Bullet kind of opens a beak to Monty, and as Monty just goes, as Bullet seems to be saying, good potential in that one, very fast. And Monty goes, lucky, nothing more. As Monty's like, how to reach these birds? How do I teach them? He's like, do they need a firmer talon? As Fletchlings just flies through, you see Slurp just kind of lobs something over the back of the head. Natural one. As another mud bomb flies up towards you, Fletchling, this time as you're flying, you catch it in the rearview mirror and just turn sideways, and it carries overhead.
Beautiful.
Wing attack, you get another big burst, and you watch as the bomb flies down towards your attackers and strikes Slurp and Derby. Just it lands right in front of them and just splatters them with mud as you get a little glimmer of satisfaction. You're like,
Nice.
And you keep flying.
Sweet.
Very good. But that's your first pass around.
Okay. Milo is going to go up to Howl and present a travel idea, going to where the fight occurred, to the big mound where all that stuff happened. Maybe stopping by where we met, because that's nearby. That'd be kind of cool. Seeing if Howl is interested in that, and then saying, hey, we have this new friend, Fletchling, and I've heard from both the source of this, the egg that it came from, and its potential abilities, that it might, just might, have an inclination towards fire abilities. So I don't know how to produce fire or tell something how to produce fire. So I thought maybe it'd be a good training exercise to see if you would judge the potential there and maybe see if it could produce fire.
Give me a persuasion check with advantage for both of those things, but Howl seems quite keen on, as he would put it, on taking you to the mound
Sure.
to see how it has changed. How'd you do for taking a look at Fleshling?
7.
7? All right. Howl looks at you and then looks at young Fleshling, and it's just he's like, there is not a glimmer of fire in this creature. As Fletchling's just
Yeah. Do I sense any of that? Like hesitance as a trainer?
give me an insight check.
Okay.
Go for it. As Howl's kind of scanning up and down.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
read any of that.
Howl has for a while now been hard for you to read.
Yeah.
He does currently lack the more
Expressive.
the more recent change
Yeah.
has subsided in the absence of like mortal danger to you and your pals.
Well, thanks, bud.
As he's just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, go get him, Tiger.
Yeah. But he sees Fletchling, and Fletchling takes a moment kind of studying Howl back. And the two nod in like silent approval of each other, and then Howl just walks away. And you can see Giraffe Rig is like right under the rope, and Howl just goes and just starts walking away. You can see Derby has posted a sign with just like a little triangle with a line through it, like taped it up there with mud. And there's just a big pile right underneath.
Quit pooping there. Gosh.
Giraffe Rig's like, just trots away. That is probably my favorite downtime thing anybody has come up with.
I have a small idea we will address with that when the time comes.
So good.
Quit
Okay.
pooping under the rope, like anywhere else.
Oh man.
The expanse is huge.
Yeah, it's so good. All right, Fletchling.
Yeah.
You've just been sized up by something.
Mm-hmm.
It's familiar but unfamiliar. Not Howl.
Mm-hmm.
Something else.
Mm-hmm.
There's a feeling there. It feels like something from your bloodline, but you can't quite place it. And it just gave you the once-over nod of you're not ready. How you take that?
Not well. I imagine I'm just implanting this personality trait right now.
Please do.
That it's got a little bit of John Locke attitude. Like,
Don't tell me what I can't do.
yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
And especially as it gets more in tune with its surroundings and being able to track things and be more aware despite its disability, it will definitely be a little too gung-ho, which I seem to, as a trainer, draw that type of person out.
You do.
But it's because I'm an enabler. I have decided, when I set out with Monty and they're like, Monty can't do this, and I'm like, yes, he can. I tend to find those Pokemon that want to do something that have been told they can't and want to help them achieve that.
Okay.
So that's why it happens.
So Fletchling,
Yeah.
when, where, and how
Mm-hmm.
would you think to try to prove this being wrong?
Right now.
Okay.
When?
Immediately.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is,
No waiting.
yeah. And to be clear, this is Monty, right?
This is Fletchling.
No, I know, but the thing that's disapproved.
Howl.
Oh, okay. I thought you said
Howl
it
kind of like stared through you for a second, and you
Yeah.
stared right back.
Okay.
And Howl gave you a nod of like, I know what
Yeah.
you can do.
Yeah.
This isn't it.
Okay. I thought you
Even
said
though
it wasn't
Milo's
Howl.
believing in you.
Okay. I thought you said it wasn't Howl, so that's my mistake.
Oh, I think I may have been describing it in that it's Howl, but it's not.
Okay.
But Monty is also a very good springboard from there if you want to
Yeah.
use that as well. As Monty's just like, you were struck by a ground type move, pathetic, you will never last. As you're like, what?
I think that immediately, because of what's been happening in the immediate training and what Monty's like hearing all this combined.
Yeah.
Or not hearing, but
Yes.
experiencing all this combined.
In a manner
Fletching
of
will
speaking.
go down and give the directive to Derby and Slurp and be like, double time, let's go right now, and go back up and
Okay.
like, let's do this drill again.
Yeah.
And it wants to prove to both Monty and Hal, yeah, I'm ready for whatever, bro. And should this prove successful, then there will be a finisher.
Very good. Fletchling,
Yeah.
begin. As you take flight, give me a strength check. These are not particularly good rolls, I don't think, but the die will be the judge of that.
9.
A 9? All right, you set out with such ferocity that you abandon your usual dexterous ways. You're beating your wings aggressively. And you can see as Slurp and Derby are like, what is going on? As you're just... You're flapping your wings like Bullet does, instead of more like Monty or Atticus. Something more akin to your usual size. But you look to Bullet, and Bullet looks down to you, gives you the subtle nod behind Monty's back, like, go on, show him what you can do. And as you fly towards these two critters on the ground, do you take your dodge?
No.
No?
Mm-mm. This
All
is
right.
Straight roll, baby.
Throw one, Doiby.
This is aggressive.
Oh, Slurp finally misses by 1. All right. So,
That's what happens.
as you fly down, you get low to the ground. As Derby and Slurp are aiming high, you just... and you tuck in your wings as they throw these globs of mud at you. Do you burn through them, cut past them, or dart around them?
See, here's the problem, right?
Yeah.
This is what this is leaning up to, but I don't want to decide it.
Okay.
This is something that I want to not like have a say in.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's a D3 we can just do.
There is always a D3 hidden beneath the whoopee of inspiration,
Like,
somewhere in the cup of oh baby.
I'm always down to like RP it out, but when I wrote
Yeah.
this as a downtime thing, I wanted the dice in this instance to dictate
Very good.
this. So because I am biased and I have one that I prefer, and so I don't want to just
Interesting.
I don't want to just pick it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Fletchling,
Yeah.
as you tuck in your wings and you fly low, Derby and Slurp have thrown the mud bombs up ahead, and they fly above you. You dart past them. And as Bullet is watching you very carefully, Milo, you kind of look up from your work and check out the treehouse. You're like, I thought they already did this drill. You watch as Fletchling begins to just sort of shimmer before poof, there's a puff of smoke. And you're like,
He exploded.
Fletchling has exploded in fear. And you see a similar eruption of spark emerge from up above as you flap your wings down, and there's this sort of shimmer of ash and smoke before a little gust of fire kind of hard bakes these two mud globules that then fall tempered to the earth as you flap your now sort of singed, embery wings. And you look up to Bullet, who just goes... And you flap your wings again and reappear where you were. And
Whoa.
carry on into flight faster than ever before. As Derby and Slurp are just...
Yeah. And channeling my inner driveway kid from The Incredibles. That was totally wicked, dude.
What are you waiting for? I don't know. Something amazing, I guess. I will say,
Just losing my mind.
Fletchling, in that moment, I know this throws off a bit of your naming ritual.
Yep.
but you have learned a new move.
Sweet.
It is neither
Okay.
agility,
Okay.
nor is it ember.
Okay.
It is something new.
Okay.
We will determine a name because this is too impromptu.
Yeah.
But what you can do
Okay.
is while you're flying, as a bonus action,
Okay.
in addition to your dodge and disengage that you can do,
Okay.
I will allow you to teleport to somewhere that you could have reached with your movement and immediately make a 5-foot radius around you fire burst attack and then reappear where you were.
Before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you, during your
So
movement,
it's like.
yeah, if you fly 10 feet, you could appear 20 feet up here, burst something, and then reappear down at that 10 and
okay.
continue your move.
Oh my god.
So it's kind of like an after image explosion.
Yeah.
And we'll come up with a cool name for it.
Okay.
And I'll also like come up with some rules language that make it make sense. But basically, yeah. If you move during your turn, you can basically, this is Fletchling seeing a threat in front of it, seeing the doubt in the eyes of many creatures, and the acceptance in two of them. As Howl kind of like sits back and is like, that should be enough. That'll be enough. And Bullet's like, whatever Howl said to him, it was enough. As Fletchling, you take flight and carry off on your dangerous flight. As Slurp and Derby are just losing their minds. Titania's shrieking loudly. Girafferig poops under the rope.
No!
Taking this opportunity.
Just shoveled it.
Taking the opportunity, Milo, as you let the shovel drop and Girafferig just. You're like, that was incredible. As Fletchling flies right past you, Milo, and there's just this faint scent of like burning feather, but Fletchling doesn't seem to be in pain at all. Just flies very quickly past you.
Huh.
As you're like, interesting.
Very interesting.
But as you come around and kind of calm yourself, you take a deep breath. You're expecting Monty to be furious with you for cheating or whatever it is he's going to yell at you for. As you land, Monty just struts up to you and goes,
I would like Monty in this instance, because it's the only thing that he understands as a reward or like an achievement, is a much smaller ribbon that's the same color of Monty as like a gold star.
okay. And just,
Yeah. And I imagine it like it's pretty cool, but it's also the equivalent of like a shroot buck, you know, or like
what is exactly one of these worth? 1/100th of a cent.
yeah. So where he doesn't put much stock into it, like it takes 100 of these ribbons to equal one of my ribbons, but that's just him mentally. He still is just like, there you go.
As Monty's like, you'll earn a real ribbon someday. But
Yes.
Fletchling, you see that and you're like, okay, thanks. And as you take off into flight, you catch a glimpse through both mirrors on the side of your head. You see Bullet and you see Howl, each one beckoning to you.
And he's got to choose. I put Fletchling as a girl. I keep saying he.
That's fine. I've been avoiding the subject so that you could choose.
Yeah. She's got to choose.
Yeah.
Okay, well, again, I didn't want to choose this, so let's do evens. We'll go to Bullet. Odds. We'll go to Howl.
Very good.
Was that a 6?
Appears to be a 6.
It's a 6. Hello,
Okay.
fellow bird.
All right. Howl gives you like one final deep nod, and then like the sort of glimmer of an ember in the eyes just fades, and he goes back to sitting forward. But as you fly up to this massive predatory bird, as you approach young Fletchling. Bullet just gives you like the creepy like T-Rex look down as the eye just... Impressive. Fly with me. Then takes off. Looks back to you knowing that you have the mirrors now.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you just did. As you're kind of flying along, you catch like a little bit. You're like, beep. What? As you just... When you fold your wings in and you watch, everybody can see there's like this tearing of ozone right in front of you.
Jeez.
As you begin to sort of burn right in front of you. Similar to the mirrors, but different. You see many paths where you could be. Above, behind, below. And you appear about 15 feet ahead of and above Bullet, who looks up and sees this shimmering apparition of you that then erupts into this phoenix burst. As you then reappear beside him. As he gives you another long and subtle nod and flies before tucking in the wings and doing a large spiral down, beckoning for you to follow.
Meep.
As you dive on down, you watch as Bullet flies faster and faster, urging you to keep up. And you would struggle were it not for your newfound ability to tuck in the wings and fly like a bullet. And as you continue to bamf about, Bullet begins teaching you the secrets of agility.
Sweet. Flying faster than any bird has gone before other than my teacher.
So, Fletchling, the end result
Yes.
of your training days is a modified agility.
Okay.
And whatever we end up calling this fiery teleportation.
I have a pitch for both. So, after all that's done and Fletchling lands and ends training for the day, Mila's gonna be like, that was, I can't, it's, the way you did, amazing. Amazing.
And Fletchling just looks down and you can see a very small
Yeah.
black and gold ribbon just kind of like stickered on.
Yeah.
Like, the heck? What?
That and you got a ribbon from Monty? That's Monty, I didn't know you were doing ribbons.
As he's just like, ah!
I like
And just
it.
kind of like struts proudly out and he's like, yes, it is a mark of pride.
Yeah.
May the bird never forget.
No, it's really cool. I love that idea. Well, good idea. But the way you did that was so cool. I have a name proposal for you after watching what you've done today, because I feel weird or sad not having a name for you.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to propose the name Shimmer.
Shimmer accepts.
And that move you did was so cool. And that's just something you can do. Okay. Well, I don't know what move that is. Is there?
As Bullet and Howl look at each other, they're like, you did this. In unison, they just kind of like give each other a nod and then look back.
Well, if it's not a name or a move that is typical, we could name it Blink Burst.
So it shall be. Your Pokemon invented it. You get to name the name. All right. Then Blink Burst it shall be named. As you train for a few more days with Bullet to hone your skills,
Oh yeah.
you can now, in flight, appear, erupt, and return. His bullet's like, I'll raise the girl. They fly around for a while.
Beautiful. About 50 feet away from the tree, there's gonna be a hole.
Okay.
It's gonna be a magic hole.
Okay.
And there's gonna be a little bit of dirt.
Uh-huh.
And what happens is whenever poop enters the hole, the dirt covers it like perfect.
Uh-huh.
And then behind where the dirt was, sprouts a how do you pronounce it? Topiary?
It's I think it's a topiary.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
In the shape of a wood boy with the big leaf.
May he never find this room.
And so whenever Giraffe be like, hey, come here. And then I'm going to take the shovel and I'm going to scoop the poop and put it in the hole and go, watch. And it goes, tsh, and then it goes, poof. I think you can eat it. Whenever you poop in this hole, it'll make one for you to eat.
All right, you just see Giraffe Rig's eyes go wide. Giraffe Rig, there's a moment of recognition of like, this is sorcery, but I don't care.
So whenever you poop, you get a nice big leafy treat.
As even Howl's like, ingenious. As everybody kind of looks out and Derby finally just walks over to the tree and takes the little poop sign down.
Yeah. And should Giraffe Rig actually poop in the hole, I turn and the whole gang just goes, yeah! Just celebrates this victory.
It's come full circle. My God. And I'll say at some point in this, in these few days, Slurp has been making his way to hang out with Derby.
Okay, cool.
And more than a few times has sort of just like roped Titania into some schemes. You've had a few
100%.
mornings where you wake up and there's like a roller derby that they've set up and Slurp's like chasing Titania around. They're doing like motorcycle tricks and you're like, kids will be kids.
Yep.
As even Derby's just like running along the top of the dirt and going like diving underneath and jumping back up. They seem to be having fun.
Yeah. And for those of you at home, we did a little bit during downtime for Titania, but my direction to her for the duration of the rest of her free time was just have fun and do whatever is fun. So she is free reign to hang out with Slurp and Derby and just do whatever is fun and enjoy your childhood, because every child should.
Yeah. Titania seems probably the least phased of everyone's Pokemon from the final encounter with Arlecchino. She saw it as just another performance.
Yeah, I'm
going
pretty sure
on.
she just like rode atop Howl and like.
She saw it as just another day.
Yeah.
Where for everyone else, other than Slurp, as you're seeing, has adjusted relatively well. But there's a somber mood in Wilhelm Manor during this several weeks of sort of downtime.
100%.
You've noticed and you've done for yourself, everybody's sort of isolated for a while. You guys have been through some stuff, and you're all processing.
100%.
But Titania's just completely unfazed.
Yeah.
She's just like getting little glide jumps going, and Howl is on constant surveillance. He looks exhausted. He just seems to be pacing for as long as he can. He'll nap for a few hours, and then he's right back up.
Yeah, for sure.
Pacing around, always watching the door. Wadsworth catches your eye a few times. During your training sessions, he doesn't participate in the similar ways. Seems to meditate a lot.
Yeah.
He floats in the corner, connecting his sort of webbed toes together in a very broad stance for hours at a time. He'll float motionlessly. And you can see his eyes kind of flickering back and forth beneath eyelids. But he never intervenes. He doesn't bother anyone, and no one seems to want to bother him. Titania thinks about it a few times. She's like, I could scare him. could get him real good. But he has mind powers. And then she'll run away.
Slurp's here. He's having fun with Titania. However, I know that Titania sometimes doesn't understand how sharp her wings and talons are.
Yeah.
So, half due to the scarring on his face, not aesthetically, but
Yes.
like, from a health perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and half to allow him more interaction, them more playtime, I want to segue my last project as an idea, starting point, to give Slurp a trunk guard out
Okay.
of leather so that he can like also catch her and launch her
Okay.
and not take any damage to his trunk.
Yeah.
Also start to seed the ideas of like the padding around that area and the
Mhm.
defense. So conjure up for him just a trunk guard made out of leather, basically what I just said. But
Perfect.
then in doing so and seeing how that's working, and it's working for Titania and jumping off him, like, dang, I could have something like that for my arm.
Okay.
And then I could have like full range of my hand without wearing a big leather glove for fine motor things, but then
Mhm.
my birds can still land. Dang, that's a thanks, Slurp, and I'll pat him on the head and not tell him what.
He's like, what did I do?
Like I made something for him and I was like, thank you. And he's like,
Okay.
wait, what?
He's like, I don't understand your gift giving custom, but wee, and just rolls away. As you're having that moment of revelation, you hear a ding, ding, as you turn slowly and see a small cat perched, one leg up. Ding.
Oh. What are you doing in here? What's up, Wimpimble? Why? What?
And he produces a large garland of roses.
Oh. Thank you.
And they spray water in
I
your
thought
face.
it was a nice gift.
He goes,
Why do I always trust you?
as he just saunters away.
I always trust you.
And you watch as he goes, grabs onto one of the lifts and just flies on down.
What a goof.
And then you just hear, and you look, and you kind of look down, and Wimpimble's just seems to be getting a feel for camera placements, room size, occupancy.
Casing.
Yep.
Casing my joint.
Yes.
Okay.
He's like, you've been cased by the almighty Windhimble. Goodbye. You're like,
All right. Whatever, man. Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever floats your boat, I suppose.
yeah.
With a better understanding of his pals, Milo and Dee head for Port Thalo to meet up with Marley for some more training. If you enjoyed this episode of Boarding Party, please consider leaving a like on the video to show your support. If you'd like to see more of the Tots and stay up to date on the Laris region, why not subscribe to the channel? If you'd like to help us out in other ways, you can follow the links in this video's description box to our Patreon. From there, you can join the discussions in our Discord server, or check out the post show Still Rolling to get a recap of every session with myself and the crew. There are also links if you'd like to check out some Boarding Party merch. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of the Reuter method. And thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you this Thursday for some flight and dive training with Dee and Milo.